Hello, Joe. Thank you for sharing that video and taking the time to answer our questions. The depth of your responses gave us a valuable insight into who you are and who your team are, as well as the areas where we think we can offer some support. To start, I'd like to introduce our team. My name is Sophia, and I'm joined by Rachel, Pedro, Shauna, and Nicole. We're excited to collaborate with you and your team to help strengthen your foundation and set you guys up for success. After reviewing your video, we've identified key areas where we believe additional support would be beneficial to you and your team. These will be the main focus of our efforts during this consultation. Um, First, we want to start out by saying there's a lack of focus and commitment within your team. Team members seem to be disengaged and delay critical tasks like program writing and follow through, some conflict and poor relationships. There seems to be friction within your team and with external agencies hinders collaboration, and no one seems to want to be working together. Intergenerational tension. It seems like the older employees resent the younger ones, and it's creating a division within your guys' workplace. Accountability issues. There's some members, such as Jill and William, who are not being held accountable, and it seems like it's impacting the morale within the company. Ineffective leadership and decision making. It seems like Jill, you're having a hard time. Um, it seems like you're avoiding conflict and you are kind of lacking ownership, and it seems like there's a problem, and that's a huge problem. Um, there's a lack of engagement from leadership. Um, it also seems like, Joe, you're uninterested in team dynamics, and it seems like you're dismissing problems and addressing those issues. There's interdisciplinary issues. Seems like there's team members who don't step up to support the organization, one being a key concern in this area. Soft leadership approach. It seems like, Joe, you're having a hard time being firm in your role and taking responsibility for some of the team issues that you're currently facing. Untapped team potential. It seems like, Joe, you see the potential within your team, but there's a lack of communication and accountability and willingness to do the work. So as we've compiled all these areas of focus, we've identified that your business core issue is a lack of psychological safety. In this consultation, we'll focus on implementing psychological safety through 5 key objectives: trust, health conflict, commitment, accountability, and results orientation. These will hopefully help create an environment where your team will feel secure and empowered to thrive. So first, we want to start off with trust. We'll focus on trust first. As Patrick Lencioni highlights in his book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, trust is the foundation of any effective team and one of the most crucial objectives to nurture. Here are some ways you can begin building trust within your team and among your employees. Joe, you can conduct vulnerability-based trust exercises like personal storytelling and open discussions where it can be done on-site or at off-site events. You can also bring in a motivational speaker to inspire employees, boost morale, and strengthen team cohesion. You can also establish a culture of service, which can be done through the law of reciprocity that we have learned from Michael Rogers' book, Do You Think You Can Lead? That will help service and kindness flow through your team. You can also hold regular one-on-one meetings for open dialogue and feedback, which can help improve communication within your team. You can also celebrate team achievements with rewards, acknowledgments, and games to make employees feel heard and valued, which is very important within a company and with a team. You can also design a team building exercise that encourages openness about mistakes and weaknesses. It fosters trust and growth. And as we learned from Lencioni again, that team members that are not genuinely open about their mistakes and weaknesses make it impossible to build trust. By utilizing these tools and areas, you can create a space where trust is felt within the team and individuals feel comfortable being honest with each other in a very constructive way. Now I'm going to turn the time over to Rachel, who will discuss ways you can encourage healthy conflict within your team.
Thank you, Sophia. Joe, yeah, you're going to need to start by defining what healthy conflict is for your team and highlighting its importance. As Lencioni states, when people don't weigh in, they don't buy in. When this is managed well, this conflict will strengthen your team by fostering trust, innovation, and commitment. Joe, you can teach these conflict resolution skills, and we can even help you encourage and help you teach your team active listening and non-defensive communication skills. You can establish team norms, rules of engagement, and ensure respectful decisions in your meetings. Joe, you're going to need to assign a minor in these meetings. This minor is going to draw out quieter teammates and encourage diverse opinions. You can keep these meetings focused by setting time limits and reinforcing a circle of safety where your team members feel secure sharing their thoughts. When you do these things, you will create a culture where your team members openly discuss issues rather than withdrawing or engaging in toxic behavior. This is going to help Brandon reignite his engagement. It's also going to provide leadership to help Juan with credibility. Meetings will start being productive, inclusive, and respectful, where all voices are going to be heard. A team culture is going to be established, and this will foster trust, openness, and vulnerability, strengthening and collaboration and decision making. By implementing these practices, Joe, you're going to create a team of space and have space for this healthy conflict. And this is going to lead to a stronger team and better results. Next, we're going to help you build commitment in your teams. Commitment is the foundation of a successful team. When employees feel valued and understand their purpose, they become more engaged and motivated. Here's how we're going to help you foster that commitment. Joe, you're going to need to clearly define the team goals and individual roles through workshops with your employees. You can set a team vision using where, why, and how to align everyone's efforts. Joe, you're going to need to take full ownership and lead by example. Your employees are going to learn to follow you as a leader when they know you generally care and support them. To help you implement these strategies, we're going to help you redesign meetings to focus on priorities and eliminate distractions. You can keep goals visual, like on the wall in the office and on every agenda to maintain alignment. This is going to help Jill and Williams delays in programming and help keep them on track. You can recognize some of these contributions and other ones on your team during meetings to reinforce all the team members' values. When you accomplish this, you will have higher engagement and motivation, ensuring tasks are completed on time. Your employees will have clear responsibilities. They're assigned daily, weekly, and even monthly to them. It will also increase clarity in your meetings, eliminating confusion and keeping the team focused. By fostering commitment through clarity, leadership, and structure, Joe, you're going to create a team that is engaged, accountable, and driven towards success. Now I'm going to pass it to Pedro for some more.
Thanks, Rachel. Joe, let's talk about accountability. Based on our discussion, we identified problems that need to be addressed. First, you said that your team has one goal and one goal only, and that is profitability. And everyone knows that. Let's take a second to make a change with this. Let's add more goals to enhance relationships, build respect to one another, and gain that commitment. This will help extinguish the biggest problems that your team is facing. As you mentioned, there is a big problem with the lack of focus, relationship problems, unkind feelings to other older generations in your team. Not only are you rewarding people individually, incentivizing them individually, but you are contributing to some of these issues. Now let's set some accountability to your team. And Joe, I need you to initiate this accountability. Set yourself accountable to your organization, to your team, face the conflict, and don't avoid the conflict. Convert the conflict into something positive and healthy. I need you to put the pressure on your team, just like Lencioni says. Ensure poor performers feel the pressure to improve. And that's on the book on the 5 dysfunctions of a team. I need you to create a process flow chart. Within this chart, you need to establish individual and team responsibilities. Once you create this, revisit the flow chart bi-weekly and observe the progression of your team. Evaluate the team as a whole. The objective is to highlight teamwork, response times, healthy conflict engagement, and team support. This will help sustain accountability to yourself, your team, your organization. In addition to this, I need you to accept team problems and responsibilities. You mentioned that problems are your team's, it's theirs and not yours. I need you to be vulnerable to the team. I also need you to start with the sonic approach, as Michael Rogers states in his book. You need to be open for service, serve your team, be available to them. Open up to the team, be nurturing, demonstrate that you care, and be inspirational. Offer that team vision and lead the team where they need to go, and commit to your organization and your team. Lastly, I need you to examine the stages of team development. And these stages, as a reminder, are forming, storming, norming, and performing. And let's restart this and build on this foundation. I guarantee that if we work on these fundamentals, we can secure accountability. All right, Joe, now that we got this covered on accountability, let's remind your team of the focus on results. Celebrate successes by offering an incentive for your team improvement and individual improvements or achievements. This can be done during quarterly meetings. Offer recognition, incentivize the teams, provide a Rockstar Award, acknowledge your teammates or team members in public during meetings. The goal is to foster team cohesion, motivate the desire to win, and keep everyone involved. The results will speak for themselves when you master accountability. Joe, I have faith in you. You need to set the tone, and good things will happen. Now I'm going to turn the time over to Shauna.
Hey, Joe. So we encourage you to create a thematic goal. Your team will rally around the objectives of this goal, and it gives you a chance to really lock in the concepts that Sophia, Rachel, and Pedro just went over. For the thematic goal, we suggest develop psychological safety in your team. There's 5 objectives that we encourage you to include in this, and with it, you could come up with the task, and I'll give you some suggestions for the tasks. The first objective is trust. Your team needs to trust each other. Some of the tasks we suggest is that you perform and discuss a team assessment, such as the one that Lencioni suggests in his book. Also perform and discuss personality assessments. We found that the Myers-Briggs personality test is amazing and works really well for teams. The second objective is to develop healthy conflict. Your team must be able to freely share and receive opposing ideas without the disrespect that Jill and Juan are showing. Some of the tasks that you could try, you can assign a conflict coach for every meeting. They can make sure that everybody is getting a chance to speak, and they can make sure that everybody is showing respect. Joe, you must be the first to model healthy conflict. It's up to you to dig into hard conversations and find out why Sawyer is disconnecting, if Abigail is really going behind your back, and why Thomas left, etc. The third objective is to gain commitment. Commitment is not consensus. We do not want to try to get consensus. We need to get commitment. Some of the tasks you could use for this objective are to use well-developed agendas with time for healthy conflict built in. You could use the tool that Lencioni introduces in his book, Cascading Messaging. And the fourth objective is taking accountability. Some tasks we suggest that you could include there are to hold high expectations for performance. Jill and William must answer for their lack of results. You can also set team norms, such as meeting etiquette, like we've talked about already, communication rules, spending limits, etc. Joe, you must be the arbiter of taking accountability if your team fails to hold each other accountable. You are the one who must take ownership and lead out if your team struggles with taking accountability. The final objective we suggest is having a results orientation. Some tasks that you could use is to set clear goals with time-bound tasks to accomplish, assign someone to each of those tasks, track those goals and tasks, and celebrate successes as a team. So, Joe, you need to model these 5 objectives. We've outlined them for you and rolled them into a thematic goal that will turn your team around. By ingraining trust, healthy conflict, commitment, taking accountability, and a results orientation into your team's culture, you will instill psychological safety in your team. Your team will board that rocket ride and get off the subway and begin to produce the results that they're capable of producing, and your company will begin to move forward once again. So next, Nicole will show you the scorecard we've designed to help you and your team track your thematic goals with its 5 objectives, and she'll wrap things up. So Nicole, turning it over to you.
Great. Hi, Joe. My colleagues have given you a lot of really wonderful information to digest, and it's really important to us that you understand the why behind some of the decisions we're going to be making as a team in the future. Before we can implement any changes to your team, we really want you to understand the root problem and understand why we're asking you to make some of these changes. I would also like to just help you understand our implementation, kind of a timeline and how that works for you and for your team. So we would partner with you and your team starting from the very beginning, pushing in on site and building trust and setting goals individually with everyone involved. All of your employees have room for improvement in areas that they can grow. And so we'll start with building trust and setting goals. And my team knows that if we spend significant amount of time here building strong commitments, it will greatly benefit our outcomes in the future. Joe, we would teach you about norms, about roles, about healthy communication. You've heard about some of the tools that we've used before in those areas. Our team will offer a variety of strategies to you and your employees, really trying to work diligently to find the right one for you. One example of that is what we refer to as a scorecard. And a scorecard is a visual aid or tool that you can have displayed in all of your team meetings, in your conference room, wherever you're having robust conversations. Using a scorecard will help keep your team on track and also really build in that accountability piece, making sure your team meetings are focused on the right things. So we'll leave you with that visual so you can kind of get an idea of things we've offered to teams before. But again, we would tailor it to fit the needs of you and your team. We will offer you support and the skills modeling to you initially, what that will look like and how to participate in really strong leadership. And then we will fade that support as your skills grow and you start to notice that morale is improving. We will help you develop team reward systems to further your transparent communication and to boost morale and momentum in your productivity, which is a big part of your end goal and achievement. Joe, if you commit to this transformation of your team, you will notice improvement in morale quickly. The goals we set with your team will be based on the best outcomes for everyone. Michael Rogers teaches that there are going to be times when the right thing to do is the hardest thing to do, but it's the best thing to do for everyone. And Joe, right now you have a choice to make. You're in a difficult situation, and taking ownership of your team is the right thing to do, which is why you reached out for help. And my team of esteemed colleagues are ready to teach you how to do that and help you make some positive changes on your team. So we look forward to working with you in the future and look forward to hearing from you. We'll leave with you some examples of our scorecards and just an outline of some of this information so you can recall as you're remembering. But again, just really important that we focus on building trust, developing healthy conflict, commitment, accountability, and then we will really be able to see some results. So please let us know if you have any questions, and we look forward to working with you soon.